Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the post-game recap to the Oilers 3-2 overtime victory against the Detroit Red Wings, and in a game that can only be described as, thank God the Oilers won because they probably didn't deserve it. However, I will say as the game progressed, they did get better and better. They started to control the play a little bit. I was very worried after that first period. Full disclosure, though, I did not watch the entire game live. I was working late tonight. I came home, I watched a condensed version of the game, and I'm also taken a lot of my talking points from social media, a lot of the general reactions from fans. So, if there's something that I miss from the game that you want me to talk about, make sure to let me know in the comments section below. I will touch on it during the day after episode when I have time to actually review the entire game from beginning to end. But in tonight's video, I'm just going to review the fact that the Oilers won. We're going to talk about Leon Draisaitl having a terrific performance on his 29th birthday. He had 2 goals and an assist for 3 points. He led the way for Edmonton, including the game winner in overtime. But there are still some concerns in the Oilers game. At the end of the day, though, they've won 4 of their last 6. They have points in 5 of their last 6 as well. They are 4-1-1 in those games. And the Oilers are definitely turning that corner. And, maybe earlier in the year, they would not have won a game like this. They found a way to win a game like this against Detroit. Full credit to Cam Talbot and net for them. Played great. And credit to the Red Wings as well. I may have not been as respectful as I should have been during the pre-game report. I talked very negatively about their analytics. I basically said that they were only winning games because of their goaltending, which isn't entirely fair to that team because they are a good team. They have really good players, and they showed that. They showed that against the Oilers, and I don't know if Edmonton came out expecting to maybe, I wouldn't say have a cakewalk of a game, but Detroit showed up prepared and ready to go. The Oilers did not. And that's slightly concerning as an Oilers fan because Detroit played last night against Buffalo. They were on the second half of a back-to-back today. And for Edmonton, now they're on the second half of a back-to-back against Columbus tomorrow. And Columbus hasn't been playing super poorly this season. They are very competitive. So Edmonton will have to step their game up tomorrow against the Blue Jackets than how they played against the Red Wings if they want to win tomorrow night. Now, I am going to talk a little bit about the analytics here as well, taking a look at some of the ice time for certain players, the expected goals. Natural stat trick, I don't know if they're just kind of glitching out right now. They didn't have an expected goals for percentage for either Detroit or Edmonton. Not sure what's going on there, but we are going to take a look at Money Puck. In all situations, the expected goals for were 3.32 to 2.71 in favor of Detroit. And if you kind of take a look at this graph, Detroit in that first period, it tracks with how they played. I watched the first period on my lunch break, and I don't even remember if Edmonton got a couple shots on net in the time that I watched. I will say, though, Corey Perry stepping up to the plate, stepping up for his teammate who was hit hard in the boards, Derek Ryan. He had a spirited tilt, and the Edmonton Oilers, they are now 4-0 when they have a fighting major in a game. And I didn't put out a tweet at the time, but I should have. I was going to talk about how, even though the Oilers were down 1-0 after 1, the fact Corey Perry fought, I was like, a win is guaranteed. If the Oilers have to fight, if they want to win 55 games this year, if they need at least 55 fighting majors for that, you know what? Let's do it. I'm all for it. Let's go old school. Let's Broad Street bully our way to a Stanley Cup just like the Flyers did in 74 and 75. I'm totally kidding. That's not how the NHL is played today, although maybe some old school fans watching would enjoy that. But for the Oilers, again, this was a game that they didn't entirely deserve to win, but they stepped up when they needed to. Draisaitl had himself a pretty good game overall. Podkolzin, he had a good game as well. Podkolzin didn't get a ton of ice time. It's unfortunate. He only played 10 minutes at 5-on-5. He was on the ice for 2 shots total against on his goaltender, Calvin Pickard, and both of those pucks went in the net. I hope the coaching staff is not blaming Vasily Podkolzin because he played a strong game. Ty Emberson on D once again played good. The Oilers, for the most part, their top 6 played well. Their bottom 6 didn't play amazing. Nugent Hopkins continues to be a black hole no matter where he's being played. I would recommend maybe bringing Nugent Hopkins down to the third line and playing Jeff Skinner up on the top line. Also, one thing I do want to mention, and this is something I did see because I did watch that first period earlier when I was on my lunch break, was the start of the game. For some strange reason, the coaching staff decided to switch up the defense pairs, and they had Nurse with Kulak. And I just don't understand that decision from Chris Knobloch, Paul Coffey, whoever that came from. I don't know what the logic was. They just played a game. The team just absolutely dominated the Pittsburgh Penguins from beginning to end. full 60-minute effort. Every single line was rolling. All the defense pairs looked great. And for some strange reason, they decided to switch up the D pairs once again, and they played Brett Kulak with Darnell Nurse. And I didn't understand that. And it took about 2 shifts in that first period for the coaching staff to go back to the regular D pairs. But by then it was too late. Kulak and Nurse had already been scored on. Kulak was weak behind his net, could not make a play. Darnell Nurse was just puck watching in front of the net. He looked confused on where his positioning should be because him and Kulak never play together, and it makes sense that he might be confused on where he should be on the ice in that specific moment. It's a strange decision from the coaching staff, and I wanted to touch on it, and I will talk about it in the day after episode, which won't be out tomorrow, by the way. That's going to come out on Tuesday when there are back-to-backs for the Oilers. They play tonight, they play tomorrow. I will condense the day after episodes of the Detroit game and Columbus game into one episode for Tuesday, so keep an eye out for that. Another player I did want to talk about was Calvin Pickard. He gave the team a chance to win. If it was not for Calvin Pickard in that first period, despite giving up a goal on the first shot that he faced, this team would not have won the game tonight. So credit to Calvin Pickard. He had 1.3 goals saved above expected, and after that first period, he completely locked things down. He only gave up 1 goal on the next 20 shots, 21 goal on the next 25 shots. So you know what? That's fantastic, and you can't ask for much more from your goaltender, especially your backup goaltender. This is now 3 straight games where Oilers goaltenders have played very well and given their team a good chance to win a hockey game. Of course, Skinner got the loss against Carolina. Wasn't his fault, but he stepped up. He shut out the Pittsburgh Penguins and played really well. And tonight, Calvin Pickard also played well against Detroit. If the goaltending starts to pick it up here, they're starting to feel better. The Oilers' top 6 is starting to feel better. Bouchard's starting to get back on the score sheet again. He had another goal and an assist. Connor McDavid had a couple of points. Ekholm with a couple of points. Draisaitl with 2 goals. Now the big guns are starting to roll, right? Now we're starting to see this come into place. They're starting to give up a lot less goals than they were earlier in the year. They're starting to score a few more. I'd like a little bit more than 3, though. But again, I'm not going to complain about a win. I'm not going to critique a win too much. Just my general thoughts on the game. That's pretty much it from me in tonight's video. Like I've mentioned in the pregame report, and something I will throw a reminder out to everyone who is currently watching or listening, if you can't tune in or don't want to tune in on YouTube, if you prefer a method to just listen to me in like a podcast form, I am available on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon podcasts. You just search for the Austin Hockey Podcast on your preferred platform. And these videos that you're currently watching on YouTube, I do convert them into audio files so that you can listen at home. You can listen when you're driving on the road. Maybe you're heading to work and you want to have me on the radio. It's just a more convenient way to tune into the content without maybe going through your data plan as quickly, because I do record these videos in HD, 60 FPS. Not everyone can, not everyone has a mobile plan to allow them to, tune into that content regularly. So I did want to mention as well how thankful I am for everyone who is tuning in. All the support you've shown on the channel lately has been incredible. Tomorrow, I will have a post-game reaction up much, much sooner than I did tonight for the Detroit game. Tomorrow against Columbus, that will be up probably within a half hour to 45 minutes when that game ends. And then a friendly reminder on Halloween, the Oilers are in Nashville. They play at 6 p.m. I will be live streaming that game. I will be doing a live stream commentary. We'll have the live chat. We'll have the memes. We'll have a drink or two, and we're going to have some fun on Halloween. And I may even dress up as the Joker, because I always joke about being the Joker. So I look forward to it. I hope you all have an amazing night. I will have a pregame report up for the Columbus game tomorrow morning, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button if you liked today's video. Hit the subscribe button if you really enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon, Oil Country. Tell someone that you love them. Fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. Let's go, Oilers.